The 4 Mile Canyon fire was the most destructive fire in Colorado history in terms of damage to personal property. The fire burned over 6,100 acres during September 6th through September 13th, 2010. One of the biggest problems residents are facing in the aftermath of this fire is underinsurance. 3 people closely tied to the fire shared their stories to help others learn how to fully insure their homes.
My name is Karen Remus, and I'm the Disaster Recovery Aid Outreach and Education Coordinator for United Policyholders, a nonprofit 501c3 charity. And what our organization has found disaster after disaster after disaster is that huge numbers of people, just every single time, very large numbers of people are underinsured. It's a huge problem. In our experience, it is the #1 problem after a natural disaster on the insurance front.
I'm Gary Sanfason. I'm the 4 Mile Canyon Fire Recovery Manager for Boulder County. And we found through a recent survey of folks who lost their homes that over 60% of people were underinsured by an average amount of over $160,000. So we found that this is probably the #1 obstacle for them in rebuilding right now is settling, dealing with the insurance companies.
My name is Bruce Honeyman. I'm the former chief of the Sunshine Fire Protection District, retired. I'm the current fire marshal of that district. On Labor Day, September 6, 2010, we received a tone about 10 a.m. in the morning. I went to the firehouse and with another firefighter took an engine to the seat of the fire. I worked the fire for approximately 30 hours till the next afternoon. Went to see my house that had been completely destroyed. My wife and I don't think we slept for 5 months at night, through the night, because we were so worried that we wouldn't get a claim. But the important thing is you really have to treat this as a long-term process.
The starting point when you're looking at your homeowner's insurance policy is your declarations page. The declarations page is the roadmap to the rest of the policy, and the first thing you want to look at, and the most important, is coverage A. Coverage A is your dwelling or your structure. It's really important that you get that number correct because many of the other coverages, your personal property, potentially your additional living expense, these other derivative coverages, often, and in fact in most policies, those coverages, the amounts, are derivative calculations of that structural number. So in other words, if your structural A number, the replacement cost number, is wrong, the other numbers will be wrong as well.
The other thing you need to do is to get an independent contractor to give an independent evaluation of what it will cost to rebuild the home. This doesn't mean the market value, it's the actual cost to rebuild a home. So in selecting a contractor, you need someone who's worked in the area, has built a home of similar quality to the one that you had, and has built a number of homes recently so that they understand the market forces. The insurance companies use estimating tools, Xactimate for example, to give the cost of a home. There's nothing inherently wrong with these estimating tools except they need to be validated or calibrated for the local environment. Our experience with our insurance company and their use of Xactimate was that it came in 50 to 60% of what the actual cost from our independent contractor was to rebuild the home.
Everywhere I go, wherever I speak, I make sure I tell people that they should check their policies. It's our responsibility. Your agent won't do so. I just received my renewal for my insurance policy, and it was $109 per square foot to rebuild, and that is about half of what it actually costs to rebuild. I've talked to some local builders where I live, and they said it would cost approximately $200 a square foot. So I called up my insurance agent and asked them to increase my insurance coverage for that amount, and they did, and it cost about $400 in addition for a year, and I feel like that's well worth the investment.
Creating a home inventory is really important when you're thinking about your homeowner's insurance policy. First of all, for people who've lost their home in a total loss, such as I have, I can tell you that having to inventory your personal effects is incredibly time-consuming and emotionally traumatizing. It's one of the most difficult parts of a recovery should you suffer a total loss. And obviously it's much easier to do that when you actually have the items and you can look at them and actually make a list. So some people think it's not worth it to take the time, but it really, really is.
The important thing isn't how well you get along with your local agent, because in fact, when a disaster occurs, the disaster relief teams come in, disaster teams from the insurance companies, and they cut out the local agents. Now you might ask why that is. Well, it's because often people have a personal relationship with a local agent.
But you want to get a complete copy of the policy, all endorsements, riders, any extras. And again, scan them and then put them onto a password-protected flash drive. Other documents that would be important, birth certificates, marriage certificates, also that home inventory that you hopefully have created by now. You know, your starting point is to have an open, honest dialogue with your insurance company, get them to make a written commitment that you are fully insured in the event of a total loss.
Understand which are the highest rated insurance companies. There are only a couple that do a really good job. Most of the rest of the insurance companies do about the same thing for the total losses. They all are trying to minimize the amount of exposure that they have. So what I would do is look for those insurance companies that treat people well in a disaster, and then go to them. And also tell all your friends to go to those insurance companies.
And the time and energy you take right now to educate yourself and make sure that you're properly protected on the homeowner's insurance front will just come back to you a millionfold should you be unlucky enough to have a total loss.
For more tips on how to become better insured, visit uphelp.org or check out the 4 Mile Canyon Fire resources on bouldercounty.org/4milefire.